Chapter 3. I bet you didn't even feel it, Rain says. I'm just glad she's okay, Jett replies. Lucky they weren't boys having a go. You would have wiped the floor with them, wouldn't you? Oh, let's not get too carried away, mate. What's her name anyway? Actually, I have no idea. Can you find out for me? I kinda got a thing for older women, Rain says with a wink. They only met this year, but have since become close. They're an odd pairing. Rain is unusually tall for his age, but it offers few evolutionary advantages at this stage of his development. What he has in height is brought down by form. He's an undefined dark plank, with the core strength of a dishcloth. But his teeth are perfect, and always beaming a smile, reflecting his insides, which are as bright and constant as the sun. Jett always loves his company, and his unabashed interest in waste management. He is unapologetically himself, and is as smart as Jett is athletic. People don't know what to make of him. In any other situation, he would be ridiculed as a nerd. But his incongruous pairing with the handsome and socially credentialed Jett affords him diplomatic immunity. Science is their favourite topic, but their least favourite class. Mrs. Valens is too quiet and monotone. Short, grey, and mentally retired, she offers nothing but rote learning. For some reason, learning the periodic table off by heart is the most important thing to her. The class drones on with empty voices that smudge each word with the next. Hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon. Man! Check out Jett! Bonnie Cooper, the class clown, shouts out from the desk next to Jett's. Chairs scrape the floor as excited students make the most of the interruption, springing to their feet and rushing around him. What? Jett says. Mrs. Valens puts her hand to her mouth. Jett, I think you'd best go to the sick bay, she says. I feel fine. You probably aren't. Dude, you need to go, Rain says, eyes as wide as his glasses. Jett takes his phone out of his bag and turns on his selfie camera. Oh gosh, he says. The sickbay was an afterthought. Whoever designed the layout of the school administrative block didn't consider that children can and do fall ill. Small, cold, and windowless, it has children praying for recovery. The daybed is just long enough for Jett, so taller students are forced to pull their knees in. He doesn't mind it too much though. Hives aren't contagious, just aesthetically displeasing. He checks his face with his selfie camera again. They faded, though his gut and chest are still a violent storm. He steps out of the room, closes the door behind him, and takes a seat in the hallway, where the air isn't so stale. With his arms wrapped around his belly, he drops his head back and lets out a mushroom cloud of a sigh. What is it this time, Olive? He hears the office lady say. My stomach, comes a reply from a familiar voice. Jett lifts his head in anticipation. Again? Yes, again. Can I see Miss Earthman? She isn't a nurse. I don't need a nurse. But you just said you have a sore stomach. It's anxiety. Miss Earthman's with another student right now. How long? I don't know. I'll wait anyway. The girl rounds the corner and enters the hallway. Oh, it's you, she says. It must be my lucky day, the girl says as she smiles at Jett. Hi, I'm Jett, Jett says. Olive. Thanks again for saving me this morning, she says and extends a hand. Jett takes it, smiles, and relishes her confident and gentle grip. Are you waiting to see Miss Earthman too? She asks him. Who's Miss Earthman? The school counsellor. Jett's eyes widen. Yes. Yes, I am. I am going to see her. Is she good? Olive shrugs. I don't know. I keep having to go back. Oh, kidding. She's good. That's why I come back. Oh, that's how I know your brother. Jett's eyebrows almost reach his hairline. My brother sees. Then the office door opens. cutting him off. A pale girl in a senior uniform sniffles as she comes out. "Thank you, Emily." "See you next week," the girl says. "See you, Mads," comes a gentle voice from inside the office. Jett stands up without delay. "Bye, Olive." "See you on the other side," she says, before putting her knuckles out for a fist bump. Jett, a little shocked, complies with a light touch. Then he rushes through the doorway, to the surprise of the counsellor. The room is tranquil. Off-white walls, ferns in the two furthest corners of the room, an oval wooden coffee table with a green vase housing oriental lilies and a laptop, a lazy-boy and an ottoman make up the space. He closes the door behind himself. "Oh, hello. I didn't realise I had someone scheduled," she says, sitting down on the ottoman and checking her laptop. She's beautiful. Tall, friendly brown eyes, brown hair that sits on her shoulders, and a natural, unexaggerated smile that invites the starkest truths. "You didn't. I'm Jett. I'm in Year 7. Hi, Jett. I'm Miss Earthman. But you can call me Emily. What can I do for you?" "I don't know exactly." "Please, sit." He sits down on the lazy-boy opposite her. "Is everything we talk about confidential?" he asks. "Yes, but in serious cases of child abuse, I am legally required to inform community services. Is that okay with you?" "Yes." He swallows and takes a deep breath. "Something happened to me last night." Emily nods, urging him on. "It started in the afternoon. Well, something's been bothering me for a while. Stomach aches, chest pains, that sort of thing. Then yesterday, after the game, I saw a man jump from the gap." Emily's pupils dilate. "What was that like for you?" Jett shakes his head, unsure what to say. "Terrible. But it's more than that. Before he jumped, we locked eyes. And something happened to me. It's like I could feel everything around me. And then, well, to cut a long story short, I hugged someone else, by accident. We were actually fighting. You see, I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I held him tight. And when we were on the ground, it's like our hearts were touching." Emily sits up taller, interest piqued. "Go on." "We bonded. Just like that. I could really feel inside him." "What happened after that?" "I went home. It was the middle of the night. You mentioned you had chest pains. How long has that been going on?" "Just a couple of weeks, maybe. Actually, 3 weeks. It first came on before we played Flexington North, which was 3 rounds ago." She nods to herself and stares into nowhere, mulling over the information. "Do you believe me, Emily?" "Oh, yes. I believe you." "Wow," she says, overcome with emotion. Tears well and trickle down as she sniffles. "Are you okay?" "Yes. I can't believe there is another. I'll probably get fired for this, but can I hug you?" Jett nods hungrily. They both stand. Emily rounds the coffee table with her arms out, as if welcoming home a long-lost friend. Then bang! Their impending embrace is interrupted by the sound of gunshots from all around. They drop to the floor, pinning themselves flat to the rug. The door bursts open. Jett's heart jumps. He looks up and sees that it's Olive that's charged in. She slams the door shut and drives the lazy boy up against it as the gunfire continues. She then crawls under the coffee table, joining Jett and Emily on the floor. "There must be multiple shooters! It's coming from everywhere!" Olive shouts. The shots are even coming from above. Above? Jett thinks to himself. He stands up. "Jett, what are you doing?" Olive asks. He stares at the air conditioning vent in the ceiling. "They're not gunshots," he says. Emily and Olive look at each other, before pushing up off the floor and getting to their feet. They stand on each side of Jett and tune their ears in around them. "You're right. It sounds like firecrackers," Emily says. "Give me a boost," Olive says, putting her right hand on Jett's shoulder. He interlocks his fingers and holds his hands as a platform for her. She steps onto them and he grimaces as he lifts her. "Emily," she says, extending her hand. Emily grabs it and Olive puts her other hand on Jett's head and stands on his shoulders. She grabs the air conditioning vent and flips it down. She sticks her hand inside, retracts it, and sprinkles red shredded paper onto the coffee table. She sniffs her hand. "Smells like New Year's down at the harbour," Olive says. A few distant explosions pop, losing their potency before they peter out. Emily is about to speak when the PA system crackles to life.
"Good morning, teachers and students of Flexington South High School,"
says a digitally muffled voice.
"Did I scare you? Is your face flat to the floor like a dead dog's? Good. Get used to it. Because a cull is coming. You see, the problem with nature is that it has no will. Existence is its only goal. At first, the spark of life was a miracle. It faced down all the elements like a strip club bouncer with an out-of-control bucks night. And now, here we are, Flexington. This is what has become of life. Billions of years of evolution. For this, there is too much life, incompatible life. Life that is here purely because it was born and can find a teat. Life used to have to pay its own way, but now it gets fat off someone else's efforts. It is time for a purge. Nature was once the arbiter. From asteroids, plagues, great floods, bushfires burning off the dead wood, it had its way. But society also has its way, with its emergency services and social programs, so even the most useless amongst us can simply breed on. Therefore, nature needs a helping hand, and human hands can pull triggers that nature cannot. Bang, bang.
The buzz of feedback returns to the speaker. "Staff and students of Flexington South High School, this is Principal Katz. I have absolutely no idea what just happened. Rest assured, that will not happen again. Now all students are to remain in their classrooms until the police have determined that no threat remains." The sound drops from the speakers, leaving an awkward void. Jett, Olive, and Emily look at each other. "This is exactly what I've been talking about, Emily," Olive says. A look of concern comes over Emily's face. Jett's eyes dart between Emily and Olive. "What do you mean?" he asks. "Everything we discuss in this room is confidential, right?" Olive says, emphasizing the secrecy of what she is about to divulge. Jett nods. She takes a deep breath and lets out a sigh. "I'm Raven." "What's that?" "You haven't heard of Raven On?" "There were flies all around the school last month." "No? Really?" "Yes." "You mean yes, you really haven't? Or yes, you do recall the plethora of coloured A4 size posters that I may have got for free after hacking into the staff print server?" "The first one." Olive plants her hands on her hips. "You know, I had 100 views last month." "Is that a lot?" "Look, the point is, my blog is dedicated to important investigative work." "Like what?" "Well, nothing yet. But this is the kind of story I want to be breaking." "What is the story?" "The city is at boiling point. Emily knows it. I know it. We can feel it. It isn't going to take much for everything to explode. A bomb is going to go off. Literally. and this mayor has shortened the wick. You think the mayor is behind this? No, he's the front of it. He's the face, the grinning bastard, kissing babies with the same mouth that he uses to kiss the asses of the wingnuts who put him on the throne. But I swear, I'm going to do everything in my power to bring him down, Olive says, with the fire of a 15-year-old schoolgirl. And Emily is going to help me. Olive, we've been through this, Emily says. You said you can feel it too, Emily. I said I can feel your frustration. I reflect. It's called reflective listening. But you know what's up. I'm the school counsellor. I'm always happy to hear you, but I'm certainly not able to take part in political activities. Ah, but you would if you could. That's not what I said. I know. You can't blame a girl for trying, Olive says, smiling. Emily smiles back. She adores Olive, the girl who holds her cards close to her chest, facing out. Well, I'm going to find out who is behind this, even if I have to do it myself. I don't think you should be poking around, Olive, Emily says. Why not? Every time I mention the mayor in one of our sessions, you make this face like he's stolen your toilet paper after you've had a curry. Olive, need I remind you that all aspects of our sessions are completely confidential, including my, whatever you perceive my expressions to be. Need I remind you that I also have a policy of mandatory reporting on serious cases of abuse? Because Mayor Proto has been spanking this city like a stepdad. Emily's eyes drift to the window. She rushes over. 6 police cars pull up, unleashing a swarm of shadows with shields, batons, and machine guns. The city's police force has been militarised, and no one even cares. Emily sighs. Stick to the school paper, because you don't know what you're dealing with. I'll help, Jett blurts out. Olive and Emily look at him in surprise. It was a reflex, like a cough to expel a cold, and it's just as relieving. The fist around his heart is loosened. I'm serious, Jett affirms. Olive smiles sympathetically. You're a sweet kid, and I appreciate what you did for me this morning. But I think you'd better stick to Pokemon, Olive says. All over the quadrangle, through every playground and every canteen line, recess is eaten by gossip and speculation about who was responsible for this morning's prank, the status to which it has been reduced. I bet it was one of the incels that hangs out at the bottom of the oval. How did they hijack the PA system? How many of them were there? And how long did it take? Because that's a heck ton of firecrackers. Jett and his group of boys stand under a jacaranda tree, like they always do. I don't even get what they were talking about, says Parky, Jett's friend from primary school, as he crunches his celery. I bet it's a teacher. How else could they get access to everything? Rain says. Mr. Bushman's marbles have rolled off a cliff, I reckon. He's always going on about how the youth of today need a good kick up the backside, Terry Poe says. Boomer's gonna boom, Parky says with a shrug. But he's not even that old. Looks it though. And he's a creep. Yeah, I wouldn't want him as a swimming coach, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I reckon he's got a wardrobe full of beige cardigans, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I reckon he's had all the skirting boards replaced in his house, with upskirting boards, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I've never seen him holding a stringed instrument, but I reckon he's a pretty experienced fiddler, if you know what I mean. What do you reckon, Jett? Jett! Jett looks up, startled. Overwhelmed yet partially alleviated of his recent anxieties, he was absent from the conversation, and instead pondering the events of the morning. He got as far as noting that he and Olive felt the same thing, possibly Emily too. He also wondered why Emily believed him about his experience so readily. Then there was the revelation that his seemingly invincible and emotionally vacant brother is getting counselling. But that train of thought has been derailed by Parky's question. Sorry, what was that? You off with the fairies, mate? Parky asks him. Leave him alone. He had hives, Rain says. Whenever I get hives, I can't think straight either. I have to go to the toilet, Jett says, before throwing his backpack over his right shoulder and scurrying off. As he crosses the quadrangle, he pulls out his phone. Hey Siri, who's raving on?